Here we go. We're all set. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Oh, it's 8 degrees today. It's a little nippy out there today. But here we are, bright and shiny. So let's dig into the news. Here we go. Okay, here's a Comcast commercial.
There are some days that nothing can prepare you for. But being ready,
Big crash.
well, it's not about what life
amputating
puts
his
you
left
through.
leg.
It's about how you react. So when everything changes overnight,
And he
you don't
invents
give up.
a new
You keep
prosthesis
going.
for himself
When new challenges come up, you find a new way forward.
and a new technology.
And when you meet other
for
people
others.
facing what you faced, you don't pass them by. You start a business dedicated to getting them back out there. And after you've achieved all that, you don't stop. You take on what's next.
Okay, Comcast salutes Mike Schultz, who started a business after his leg was amputated because the prosthesis he was given was not, they're designed for comfort and ease of use and not for competitive sports. But there's something in us that needs to compete. I don't know what. We're wired that way. Jordan Peterson says we have a game circuit in our brain. And that probably is certainly true. So anyway, kind of a tearjerker on that one, but he's really overcome. Let's get over to the PDFs of the world. And we've got some good ones today. Let's see, we got to minimize that. That one's, I'll put that up. Here's a serious problem. Zoom fatigue is real and worse when you don't like your face. And, just a few notes here that I wanted to point out is that I do work fairly hard at getting the lighting right. I have serious professional diffusers here, not just one of those dilly rings. I have special glasses that I bent with pliers. The diffusers are coffee filters, I should note. There is a YouTube video somewhere on how to start a studio for less than $50. I have this spiffy microphone, which I took a coat hanger and some black nylon stocking and made a pop filter. So it's pretty high class, and I don't expect you to emulate all the professionalism that I put in to get here, but I learned something new this week from the style consultant, and it was pretty important. Yesterday I was on a 2-hour Zoom call with judges for the Echo Awards. It's a more than 90-year-old award program for direct marketers. And sadly, we didn't have enough, or we didn't have as many direct mail entries as I would have liked to see. So I'm going to make it my own personal mission to get more direct mail entries in the category for next year. But there were judges from Brazil, Argentina, London. I don't remember one from Asia. But anyway, they were from all over the world, and we had entries from Sweden and from South America and just all over the place. It was really, really fun. But the style consultant, after our WDMA event, said that I have, and this is a technical term, my style consultant was a morning news editor for Fox News for a while and is professionally trained. So this is a serious thing you want to consider for your Zoom calls. She said, I have resting bitch face, which I had never heard before. Now you know. And that means that when I'm paying attention to other people, which I should, and not talking, which I should do more of, that I go like this. And that's how I look. I look old, tired, and angry. So I worked for an hour and a half yesterday at looking interested and attentive and happy. Sat there like this. It was very hard. It wasn't as hard as like Miss America, but I also worked at being more animated, waving with my hands a little bit when I wanted to say hi. And but this is real, and so I'm trying to help you out. I did notice that almost no one else put much effort into their camera or their posture or anything else, And if I can literally spend dollars putting this studio together, then you can too. So I want to urge a little more care in our Zoom our Zoom setups for the rest of the world. But here's why it's fatiguing. Unnatural eye contact compared with interpersonal reactions. Sometimes look at the camera. You tend to look at the other person who isn't there. Who's on your screen someplace there or over here, and and they could actually be flipped so that you actually look like you're looking away. So sometimes look at the camera if you can manage that. There's a difficulty in sending nonverbal cues. So wink or smile or wave a little bit or thumbs up, double thumbs up. Thank you for your service. We care. Anyway, get a little more into it. Don't just sit there like this. No one will like you on Zoom. Okay, and also limiting natural movements to stay in the frame. Sometimes just turn the camera off and go get a cup of coffee or something and come back. I found out it's less disruptive to turn it off than it is to walk away. People don't know what to do with that. Okay, so I think that's going to be very helpful for the audience out here. As you know, I'm a serious professional. Okay, so excellent article from Craig Huey. This is actually from his newsletter, so I wasn't going to use it because it's, but it's actually better than most articles. So I thought this is what I'd like to see more of, to be honest about it. Many think direct mail is dead. Everybody starts this way, and I would rather they didn't, but it's, get emotional. Direct mail is experiencing a renaissance. Okay. Why? Two factors. And one is, he says, that now we have advanced modeling. And of course, we were doing modeling in 1995 for the Hudson Bay Company and for Cabela's. So if that's the reason, then I'm a monkey's uncle, because it's been around a while. So I don't think that's true, but I think maybe it's because it's being discovered, it's being finally implemented. And what he's talking about mostly is prospect modeling and the ability to, it was so funny because I had a side bet with Dave Johnson. Is that his name? You wouldn't know. But anyway, he was the president of Musician's Friend at the time. And he said geodemographics don't work. None of this, compiled variables, none of that stuff works. And so we made a side bet, and I showed him it worked, which it did. Mostly because we're able to sort through a lot of data. And for a big mailer, that works really well. And so Craig has a graph without much detail, data modeling, response enhancement. He says with non-modeled mailing, you go to 1.8% average response, whereas modeled, you get 2.2% response, which is a 22.5% improvement. Now, I remember Tim Mabey at Neiman Marcus doing the first modeling presentation I ever remember in Dallas down at the DMA show. And he was talking about how much the incredible improvement when they used customer modeling. And I think he might even have been talking about RFM and just customer scoring and segmentation. And he showed this huge improvement. So I raised my hand. Well, compared to what, Tim? And he said a random selection. Okay, so that's one of the big questions here, is compared to what, right? Because we don't know if this was somebody with a brain selecting people. If you said, well, I got a new tennis racket, so I want to send it to people who play tennis or competed in tournaments or something like that. the chances, if you can get your hands on a list like that, the chances of the modeling beating it, out of a compiled file, yeah, very, very slim chance of that. If you can get a good contextual list with purchases, you're not going to beat that just because you model it. Now, where modeling can help in that context of contextual, of using good lists, is there's this really small number of really good lists, and then there's a big, if we graphed it, it would be like really high and then plummet and then a lot of really mediocre. Down in here where there's lists that you think should work but don't, that's where you can do the modeling, and it can really help. It can help, more than that. And the way it helps is that you rule out geodemographic profiles. As I said yesterday, you can rule out what doesn't work. Hard to figure out what does work in most data. Most data will not give you the I love you variable. That's from my book, which, I just packaged up. I sold one on my website, and that means I have to mail it myself. I sign them. They're a little more expensive than Amazon, but they are available on migmar.com. Okay, so one thing is modeling. There is modeling available. The reason there's modeling available, and this is the part that Craig leaves out, is that in mail, we know who got mailed. We know it got delivered. We know it went to a decision maker. We know there was engagement, even if they don't buy. And that part is missing in all other media, right? Because you don't know who sees your ad. Facebook will tell you for sure who they showed it to. No, they won't. They'll tell you kind of approximately who they showed it to. But Facebook doesn't know whether we were paying attention, whether we had perimeter exclusion syndrome or whatever it's called. They don't know if you were paying attention or not. But in mail, we know you paid attention, enough to throw it away, enough to know you weren't interested. So we have a non-interested population, and we have an interested population who buys. Everybody knows who buys. They have to ship it to you. The other piece is missing. So I would say, yes, Craig, modeling is a big piece. But the reason modeling works in mail and doesn't work anywhere else at all is because we know who engaged and didn't buy. A big mystery. And the other is that we can integrate it with multi-channel, and that's a big deal, and I'm not going to talk about a lot about that. We had a little bit about that on our WDMA webinar. But the idea that you can email, you can alert people, you can give your mailing list to the U.S. Postal Service and say, how many of these have informed delivery? And you can put an ad together so that if they check their mail using informed delivery, then they can have an option to click that mailing piece and get the rest of the story. For all of the hype, I'm not sure how that works, but I've been told that it does work, and it's something that you can do, and it's all free. So why not do it, right? And but here's the part I really liked about the article. Let me get down here, and this is the part. Let me give you a few examples. These aren't detailed examples. I would love to hear the stories behind some of these. Craig, go back and get some permission to tell the story. 2 million direct mail pieces for independent living. Probably prospect pieces. That's a significant mailing drop for a magazine that isn't very expensive. Cool that it works. Several million direct mail pieces for a Medicare product. Okay, I'm guessing that's like a Medicare supplement. There you go. A company that is generating leads for a sales team. So these are probably consumer, then business to business. It's now shifting. This is the key part. It's now shifting from digital, electronic to direct mail. For another consumer client, over 100,000 pieces. Down in the bottom, it says that here's a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll put that in the show notes, okay? 62 million pieces were mailed for an investment service, plus another 2 million for another insurance product and other ancillary products. Nutrition marketers, we mailed over 40 million pieces. That's starting to get to be real numbers, okay? And why do we mail big numbers? Because direct mail has been reliably successful. there's a repeatability about mail, right? We can actually isolate causal factors. We can A/B split, and we can test lists. Direct mail will always start off with a small test. Well, I worked with IBM once, and they decided to mail every business in America. I said not to, but they didn't listen. So they mailed 10 million right off the bat, and it took them 2 years to recover from the successful disaster they created. So direct mail will start off with a small test, say 50,000 to 100,000, and this is the category that I kind of lived in out here in these millions of pieces. A lot of people come to me and they say, "Well, I've got 1,000 names in my computer." Well, try it. It's not that hard. You can do it on your little laser printer in your office. It doesn't cost that much. Or you're starting a small business. You can do every door direct. You can pick the areas in your zip code around your store that you think are the nicer neighborhoods. You don't, you even can get data from the postal service, but where the nice, maybe you're starting a taco truck and you don't want to mail the best neighborhoods. Maybe you want to mail, the middle America, and get it for their graduation parties. Get it over there. Get your taco truck over there. In some cases, with a smaller universe, maybe 1,000 to 50,000. Okay, and there's all kinds of ways to start. So based on the results, we move up to a higher quality. It does take a little while, but you have some really certain results. So thank you for that, Craig, and I'll be reaching out to you, and I hope you do a lot more, and I hope you get a little more detailed studies. But I really like that. That was better than 90% of the articles I read, because I know that Craig actually does produce the mailings, and he does actually know what the results are, and he knows what he's doing. So kudos to Craig, and that should be in some. There aren't many direct mail publications anymore, so I guess put your own out. That's the way to do it. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will